Hey my guys, how are you? So in this video I'm going to show you how you can use classes. If you have ever heard about classes are mostly used in object-oriented programming, and as we know that Python, it is also an object-oriented programming language. It also uses objects, yeah? Okay, it also uses objects in terms of classes. So I won't go deep into object-oriented programming because I want to make this video majorly so that this video to be able to cater for beginners and intermediates. So we shall see that in future videos. I'll be making a video about that, but I won't go deep into object-oriented programming. I will not look into inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, blah blah. Yeah, that one I won't look into that. I'll just show you the best way, yeah, the simplest ways or different ways how you can use classes, and majorly what is a class. So a class functions as a template that defines the basic characteristics of a particular object. Okay, it just functions as a template that defines the basic characteristics of a particular object. For example, we may have an object which is a rectangle. So to create a class, we use the class keyword. So we use the class to define a class. So we use the class keyword and then the name of the class. So for example, we have a rectangle there, and this rectangle, it can have different characteristics. So for example, it can have, without continuing, I don't want to continue without saying this. A class has attributes, and those attributes are the data that that are inside this class. So attributes are the data, okay, and methods, they are the functions. Okay, here we don't call functions as we used to call them. Okay, in a function program we call them methods. So whatever function we create inside the class, we term it as a method. So this is how we can create. So for example, a rectangle has area. It has an area, yeah. Let us pass. It has a perimeter, and it has a perimeter, yeah. Let us pass. So let us look at the only that. So let us pass this one. So let us look at only this. So for example, it is here. We have our class, but how can we access this class? This class acts like a function here. Any class acts like a function here. It only runs or execute the code inside it only when called. Okay, so this class, it cannot remember, we have different functions, but there is also a major method. Yeah, these functions will not run. These methods, they will not run, but there is a method that runs even if we don't call them. These ones, we need to first call them. Okay, but there is another one which is called the init, which is the initializer. So diff, it acts like, if you have ever programmed in other programming languages like C, C++, those ones, yeah, JavaScript, those ones, yeah, you could know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know, just listen. So this function, it acts like a constructor. So it can be used to provide values that this class can use during its work, when it's performing its function. So for example, it is called the init. Are you seeing? Dash init, yeah, it is that one, init initializer. So this one, it acts like a constructor. So this one, it is used to provide arguments to this class, okay, and these arguments can be used by these other functions, other methods. So for example, to pass values in this function, we use the self keyword to pass to other function, to this function. These other functions cannot access the arguments of this class unless we use the self, okay, to access those arguments that we have ourselves, yeah, this class itself have. And to get these variables, these arguments, so for example, let us get the L and the length and then the width, okay. Let us get L and W. So to use these values here, remember I said we use the self, so we pass it here, self, like this. But if we try to use self, I think we only have area. We can access area, we can access perimeter, but we cannot access the length, our length. So in order to be able to access this length of ours, what we can do, we use the self dot. So this self dot something dot L, it is going to access our L, okay, our length, okay. Now if we try to write self dot L, we are now able to access the length, okay. That's how we can access it. So dot L, we are now able to access. So length equals to self dot L. So we are now able to access this one, this length of ours. And if we do the same to the width, dot W equals to our width, okay. So if we try to find the area, like width equals to self dot W dot width, and we try to print the area is, what is our area? Let us format using the F. So our area is what? Our area is our length. Oh, I'm typing. So length, then times using the asterisk. So times width, as we know. I'm using width. Yeah, width. Length times width, so it is going to get us the area. So how can we pass this variable, these arguments? So remember, we have to call our class. So this class, we call it like this. We can call it like this, rectangle. Let us provide the values. Let us provide 2 and then 4. 2 times 4, we are going to get 8. Let us run our program. I see we are getting nothing. I think we are getting nothing. But why are we getting nothing? Yeah, even if we try to run again, we are getting nothing. So in order to access this one, what we need to do, I've created an initializer. What we need to do, this area, remember this one, it is the one that is being run. This one only they define this init function. This one, the area, it is not run. So how can we run it? So to run this area, let us create a variable called area, which is equals to our rectangle dot, we want to access the area. So this is the area that we want to access. Then if we run area, yeah, now we are able to access our area. And if we run our program again, so area is missing one position argument called the self. This problem is occurring because we are not providing these values. We are not providing them. So let us provide them. So to provide them, let us do like this. So area, rectangle, we provide our values 2 and 4. Then we call the dot area. We call our area. So let us run the program again. Are you seeing? We are now running. The area is 8. Are you seeing? This is successful. But it is successful, but we are also calling the initializer function. This one, we are also calling the rectangle function. How can we do it without calling this one. We only want to access this one. So if you only want to access that function inside, you should make sure that that function doesn't have this self keyword, this self argument, okay? Because if it has it, you are going to only consider it as a function, a single function, okay? So you need to provide this self and make sure you don't use this one. You should take it as this self, it is just a standing variable, yeah? Only one variable, okay? So you will not be able to access the length, the width, okay? So let us try on perimeter, perimeter. So for example, the perimeter, I don't know how to calculate perimeter, but I'm a software engineer. Don't forget that. So perimeter, let us provide our length and width. Length and width. So this length and width, let us print our length and width. So the perimeter is, something simple, yeah? It is something simple like L plus, yeah, we are not going to use the easiest way. So L plus W, then we want to add L, then we want to add W, like that. So L plus W, okay, I forgot to put this one, Control X. So paste. So this is it, L plus W. So here we are going to get the perimeter. So how can we access this perimeter? So to access it, we are going to do this. We are going to write perimeter equals, then our perimeter function. How can we access it? We write the triangle dot the perimeter. I see we are now able to access it. Then here we need to pass in the arguments. So for example, the length, which is 2, and then the width, which is, the length, let me make it 4, then the width 2, like that. So when I press Ctrl and save and run our program, are you seeing the perimeter is 12? Are you seeing? So that's how we can access our functions inside a class. So we can also call a class inside the class as we do it when using functions. We can also do that. But yeah, I think you know. If you know how to call functions inside other functions, but you should not, then you can be able to call a class inside a class. Okay, so this is the basic knowledge. If you know how to use this one, to use the init function, yeah, init function, then if you know how to access these variables, these variables, these self variables, then you can be able to do anything with the classes. Okay, then just prepare for yourself to learn object-oriented programming in deep. Okay, so this is how you can use classes. You can play out with them. There are even many built-in classes. Yeah, there are many built-in classes in Python, and there are built-in there are other built-in functions, as we saw in previous videos. So you can also play around with them. Yeah, okay. So play around with classes. But don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget, please. Okay. So thank you.